Across Earth, rare natural wonders appear in ways so striking that they seem almost beyond belief, each revealing a hidden side of our planet. In the frozen mountains of Japan, trees are buried under relentless storms of ice and snow, rising into towering forms known as snow monsters. Beneath the waters of the Solomon Islands, coral reefs unfold like vast underwater gardens, alive with vibrant colors and extraordinary marine life. And in volcanic lands, rivers of lava flow with unstoppable force, carving new paths across the earth while glowing like molten fire. These moments remind us that nature is endlessly creative and powerful. Join us as we uncover more of its unseen wonders. Snow monsters. From high ridges covered in deep winter, entire forests of trees transform into towering figures, their branches frozen solid and wrapped in thick coats of wind-packed snow. Seen from above, the slopes become a white battlefield of shapes, where each figure tilts and leans as if captured in slow motion. The phenomenon occurs when heavy moisture and constant sub-zero winds fuse layers of ice onto conifer trees, building weight until trunks bend under the frozen armor. Known as snow monsters, these formations stretch for miles across the mountains, turning the landscape into one of nature's most surreal and silent spectacles. Lava rivers. Lava rivers are created when molten rock emerges from volcanic vents and flows down slope, forming continuous streams of heat and light across the terrain. These currents can extend for many miles, dividing into smaller channels that gradually spread outward before rejoining in low-lying valleys. As the surface cools, a solid crust of basalt develops, while molten rock beneath continues to move and fracture the hardened layer. With temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Celsius, these flows burn vegetation, reshape valleys, and alter the surrounding landscape. Lava rivers represent one of the clearest processes through which volcanic activity reshapes the surface of the Earth. Super tornado. Super tornadoes are extremely powerful tornadoes that form under severe thunderstorms, capable of destroying entire towns and uprooting large trees in minutes. They develop when strong winds at different altitudes twist the air into violently rotating columns, sometimes exceeding 200 miles per hour in speed. These tornadoes can travel dozens of miles across open land, leaving a path of destruction and debris that stretches for miles behind them. Meteorologists study them closely to understand how they form and to provide warnings that can save lives during sudden outbreaks. Despite modern forecasting, super tornadoes remain among the most unpredictable and dangerous natural phenomena on Earth, showing the immense force of severe weather. Baradla Cave. Baradla Cave, located in northeastern Hungary, is one of Europe's largest stalactite cave systems, stretching for more than 15 miles underground. Its chambers and passages contain countless dripstone formations, including towering columns, delicate curtains, and vast halls carved by water over millions of years. Archaeological finds inside the cave, such as pottery and tools, show that humans used it for shelter and rituals since prehistoric times. Baradla Cave stands today as both a natural wonder and a significant record of geological and human history. Silfra. Silfra is a narrow fissure in Iceland where the Earth's tectonic plates drift apart, creating an underwater passage that separates two continents. The water flowing through this rift comes from glacial melt, filtered through volcanic rock, making it exceptionally clear and allowing visibility of more than 300 feet. Today, Silfra is recognized as one of the only places on Earth where divers can literally swim between continental plates in pristine, transparent waters. Solomon Islands. Beneath the waters of the Solomon Islands Volcanic rock and coral join together to form sweeping seascapes that shift constantly with the play of light and depth. Ridges and valleys stretch far across the ocean floor, their surfaces layered in subtle colors that seem to glow and change as the currents pass. Life drifts silently through these hidden corridors, appearing in fleeting shapes that form for an instant before dissolving back into the blue. In this meeting of land and sea, the underwater world reveals a beauty both ancient and alive, a rare glimpse of nature's hidden design. Tinto River. Winding through the mountains of southern Spain, the Tinto River flows with waters stained a deep red, a striking contrast against the pale surrounding valleys. From above, its channels twist through rocky terrain, leaving dark streaks that mark the land like veins of iron across the earth. Along its banks, sparse vegetation clings to mineral-rich soil shaped by harsh conditions that few plants can endure. The unusual color comes from high concentrations of iron and other minerals shaped by both natural geology and centuries of mining in the region. Known for its otherworldly appearance, the Tinto River stands as a rare landscape where chemistry and history merge into a vivid natural spectacle. Sandstorms. Sandstorms occur when strong winds lift massive amounts of dust and sand from dry surfaces, creating dense clouds that can travel for hundreds of miles across deserts and beyond. These storms reduce visibility to near zero, disrupt transportation and communication, and often carry fine particles capable of affecting air quality far from their original source. Sandstorms highlight the powerful interaction between climate, wind, and arid landscapes, showing how weather can reshape environments and impact human life on a continental scale. Dragon blood trees bleeding red sap. On the island of Socotra, off the coast of Yemen, the dragonblood tree is instantly recognizable for its umbrella-shaped canopy that shades the rocky highlands. When its bark is cut, the tree releases a deep red resin that has been prized for centuries in medicine, dye, and ritual practices, giving rise to its dramatic name. The trees thrive in dry, elevated plateaus where their unusual shape helps capture moisture from the air and protect the soil beneath them. Today, dragon blood trees are considered both a rare botanical treasure and a symbol of how life adapts in isolation to extreme environments. Sardine Run. Along the southeast coast of South Africa, the Sardine Run occurs each year when millions of sardines migrate northward, forming enormous shimmering shoals in the ocean. These dense schools attract countless predators, including sharks, dolphins, and seabirds, creating one of the most dramatic feeding events in the marine world. The migration covers hundreds of miles along the coastline, as the sardines follow cooler currents and seek safer waters for reproduction. Today, the Sardine Run remains one of the most spectacular natural phenomena in the oceans, demonstrating the intricate relationships between species and the power of instinctive migration. Wildebeest migration. Each year, wildebeest migrate across the vast plains of East Africa, moving in massive herds in search of fresh grazing and reliable water sources. The migration covers hundreds of miles, with thousands of animals crossing rivers and open grasslands, while lions and crocodiles track the herds along the way. These interactions create a dynamic natural system where the movements of wildebeest influence the behavior and hunting patterns of other top predators. The wildebeest migration stands as one of the most extraordinary natural events on Earth, showing the scale, rhythm, and persistence of animal movement across the landscape. Morning glory clouds. Stretching across the horizon in long rolling tubes, morning glory clouds glide silently above the flat landscapes of northern Australia. From a distance, they appear like enormous waves frozen in the sky, curling and spiraling in smooth lines that travel for hundreds of miles. Formed by sea breezes and shifting atmospheric pressure, these rare clouds create a dramatic spectacle, turning the morning sky into a flowing panorama of light and shadow. Sleeping sperm whales. Deep in the open ocean, groups of sperm whales drift vertically in the water, their massive bodies suspended in stillness like pillars rising from the sea. Seen from below, the animals remain motionless, with heads tilted upward, forming a silent forest of giants in the dim blue light. Scientists believe they rest in this position for short periods, entering one of the rarest and most mysterious sleep patterns in the animal kingdom. Known as sleeping sperm whales, these gatherings reveal a hidden side of the ocean, where even its largest inhabitants pause in quiet harmony. Mammatus clouds. Mammatus clouds are rare cloud formations that appear as large, rounded pouches hanging beneath storm systems, creating a sky pattern that immediately captures attention. They form when cooler, heavier air inside the cloud sinks downward, stretching the base of the storm cloud into dozens of rounded, bubble-like shapes. The phenomenon most often develops during or after thunderstorms, signaling that the atmosphere has been strongly disturbed by unstable weather conditions. Despite their dramatic and sometimes ominous appearance, mammatus clouds themselves do not create severe weather or pose direct danger to people. Instead, they stand as one of the most visible examples of how powerful storms can shape the sky into extraordinary and unusual forms. Giant waves at Nazaré. Nazaré in Portugal is renowned for its massive winter waves, which transform the quiet fishing town into the stage for one of nature's most spectacular displays. The phenomenon is driven by the Nazaré Canyon, a vast underwater trench that funnels and magnifies the power of incoming Atlantic swells with dramatic intensity. During peak conditions, these waves can exceed 80 feet in height, forming walls of water that push the limits of even the most skilled big wave surfers. Today, Nazaré is celebrated not only as the ultimate destination for extreme surfing, but also as a striking reminder of the ocean's raw and unpredictable power. Locust plagues. Locust plagues happen when billions of grasshoppers gather into giant swarms that move across farmland, eating almost every green plant they find along the way. Under the right conditions, their numbers grow quickly, and the swarms can stretch for miles, filling the sky and covering fields as they move forward. When locusts land on crops, they eat at a shocking speed, leaving entire fields bare and causing farmers to lose much of their food supply. Even in modern times, locust plagues remain one of the most destructive natural disasters for agriculture, threatening both local communities and national food security. Bioluminescent bays. In sheltered coves along tropical coastlines, the water glows with a soft blue light whenever it is disturbed, as tiny organisms react to movement. Ripples and waves scatter the luminous trails across the surface, making the bay shimmer like a liquid night sky. This bioluminescence occurs when millions of dinoflagellates emit light, a natural defense that has persisted for centuries in nutrient-rich waters. These bays, rare in only a few locations worldwide, transform the night into a quiet spectacle where marine life and light reveal the hidden magic of the ocean. Bristlecone pines. Bristlecone pines are some of the oldest trees on Earth, with certain ones living for more than 4,000 years in the western United States. They survive in harsh mountain regions, growing slowly on rocky ground, where strong winds and freezing temperatures make life nearly impossible. Their twisted trunks and worn branches reveal centuries of struggle, making each tree look like a natural sculpture formed by time. Bristlecone pines stand as powerful symbols of endurance, showing how life can persist even in the toughest conditions. Emerald Lake. In the remote deserts of Qinghai Province, Emerald Lake spreads across the flat landscape, its waters divided into pools of striking green and blue. From above, the lake looks like a mosaic of gemstones set against pale salt flats, each section glowing with a different shade of color. The vivid tones come from high mineral content in the water, shaped by centuries of evaporation under the dry plateau climate. Known as Emerald Lake, this hidden site in China has become a rare natural spectacle where geology and light create an almost surreal display. Death Valley's Sailing Stones. In Death Valley, California, large rocks seem to move across the flat desert floor on their own, leaving long trails etched into the sand. The movement happens when thin sheets of ice form beneath the stones during cold nights, allowing wind to push them slowly over the surface. These sailing stones remain one of the desert's most curious natural phenomena, demonstrating how simple forces can create mysterious and lasting patterns. Kalu Kalu. Kalu Kalu in Australia consists of massive granite boulders scattered across the desert, some balancing precariously on top of one another. These rounded stones were shaped over millions of years by weathering and erosion, giving them smooth surfaces and unique, almost sculptural forms. The boulders sit amid sparse desert vegetation, standing out dramatically against the red earth and open sky of the surrounding landscape. Kalu Kalu remains a striking natural formation, showing how slow geological processes can create remarkable and unusual rock structures over time. Lava entering the ocean. Molten lava pours into the ocean, instantly meeting the cool water and sending hissing steam and clouds of gas violently into the air above the waves. bright red and orange molten rock bursts through the surface, colliding with waves in dramatic splashes that rise hundreds of feet into the sky. Sudden bursts of steam and gas punctuate the moment as twisting lava flows break apart when they strike the churning water below. Glowing fragments scatter along the edge, casting an intense light over the surrounding dark waters and contrasting sharply with the deep blue of the ocean. This striking scene captures nature's raw energy in a fleeting instant, showing the powerful collision of fire and water in a single dramatic moment. Tidal bore. Along winding river mouths that meet the sea, lines of waves suddenly surge inland, rolling one after another against the current with surprising force. This phenomenon forms when a strong tide pushes into a narrow channel, squeezing the water until it rises in a train of fast-moving waves. Seen on only a handful of rivers worldwide, tidal bores transform calm waterways into fleeting shows of motion, revealing the hidden power that links ocean and land. Tree of Life. The Tree of Life in Bahrain stands alone in the desert, its branches reaching outward while its roots tap into scarce underground water sources. Surrounded by sand and dry terrain, the tree survives despite harsh conditions, with green foliage contrasting sharply against the arid landscape. Its resilience in such an inhospitable environment makes it a remarkable natural presence, enduring where most vegetation cannot survive. The Tree of Life remains a striking example of endurance, showing how a single plant can persist and thrive in extreme desert conditions. Flowering desert. In northern Chile, the Atacama Desert occasionally experiences a rare desert bloom when rainfall transforms its normally barren surface into fields of color. Thousands of dormant seeds stored in the soil awaken after moisture, producing wide carpets of pink, purple, yellow, and white blossoms. The phenomenon usually appears only a few times in a generation, as it requires more rainfall than the desert typically receives. This flowering desert stands as a vivid reminder that even the driest landscapes can harbor extraordinary potential for life. Blue volcano flames Kawah Ijen. At the Kawah Ijen volcano in eastern Java, blue flames can be seen glowing across the crater slopes during the night. This rare effect occurs when sulfur gases rise from underground vents and ignite on contact with the air. In some areas, the flames stream down the rocks like bright ribbons, resembling rivers of fire flowing in the dark. Kawah Ijen is one of the only places on Earth where this extraordinary volcanic site can be experienced. Kizilkup. The Kizilkup area in central Kazakhstan is famous for its layered hills and ridges, where vivid red bands of rock create striking lines across the desert landscape. These colorful stripes were formed by layers of clay and sandstone deposited over millions of years, then exposed by erosion into cliffs, slopes, and winding valleys. Today, Kizilkup stands out as a natural wonder that reveals the geological history of the region while offering one of the most visually dramatic sights in Central Asia. Sumgan Cave. In the limestone plateau of the southern Urals, a narrow entrance opens into a vast underground system stretching for miles beneath the forested land. Passages wind through collapsed rock and flooded tunnels, where underground rivers carve smooth channels and echo faintly in the darkness. Known as Sumgan Kutuk, this cave descends more than 600 feet, standing as one of Russia's largest and most formidable natural formations. El Traun. El Traun in southern Iceland is one of the largest lava fields in the world, created by a massive volcanic eruption in the late 18th century. The eruption covered hundreds of square miles in molten rock, reshaping the land and leaving behind a surface that remains otherworldly to this day. Over time, thick layers of soft green moss grew over the jagged lava, turning a once harsh environment into a landscape of muted colors and quiet beauty. Eltran now stands as both a natural monument to Iceland's volcanic power and a reminder of how nature slowly heals even the most dramatic scars. Wakari Island. Wakari Island in New Zealand is an active volcanic island, with steam rising constantly from its crater and sulfuric gases, coloring the air above the rugged terrain. Frequent eruptions shape the slopes, depositing layers of ash and creating fumaroles that release heat and mineral-rich gases across the island. The volcanic landscape is marked by jagged ridges and steaming vents, showing how eruptions continually reshape the terrain over time. Wakari Island stands as a dramatic example of nature's power, illustrating how volcanic forces can create and transform land without human intervention. Catatumbo lightning. Over Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, Catatumbo lightning occurs almost every night, producing continuous flashes that can last for up to 10 hours. This rare phenomenon happens when warm, moist air rises from the lake and meets cooler mountain winds, creating intense electrical activity in the clouds. The lightning can strike hundreds of times per hour, illuminating the sky in bright, jagged flashes, visible for miles around the lake. Fishermen and locals have relied on these storms for centuries as natural beacons, helping them navigate the waters safely, even in complete darkness. Today, Catatumbo lightning stands as one of the most persistent and spectacular displays of atmospheric electricity in the world, drawing scientists and travelers to witness its remarkable power. Halocline. A halocline occurs where layers of water with different salinity meet, forming a visible boundary that separates fresh and salt water. This usually happens in lagoons, fjords, or underwater caves, where fresh water slowly mixes with denser seawater below. The boundary appears as a distinct layer, with water of different salt content remaining largely separated. Haloclines are a striking natural feature, showing how differences in salinity create clearly defined layers in the water. Underwater volcanoes. Underwater volcanoes form when magma erupts beneath the ocean, building new seafloor and sometimes creating islands that rise above the waves. These eruptions release gases and minerals into the water, altering local currents and providing nutrients that support diverse marine life. Over time, layers of lava and ash accumulate, shaping mountains, ridges, and vent systems that become habitats for unique species. The ongoing activity of underwater volcanoes continues to shape the ocean floor, creating dramatic landscapes and sustaining rich ecosystems far below the surface. Yanartaş. On the rocky slopes of Yanartaş in southwestern Turkey, eternal flames burn continuously, fueled by natural gases escaping from underground vents. These small but persistent fires have been burning for thousands of years, creating a mysterious glow that can be seen from nearby paths at night. The Chimera flames are a unique natural phenomenon, offering a striking glimpse of how Earth's gases can ignite and persist over long periods. Bromo Tengah Semeru Desert. The Bromo Tengah Semeru Desert in East Java spreads across volcanic slopes, where layers of ash and sand form wide, windswept plains that stretch between towering peaks. Frequent volcanic activity continuously shapes the landscape, sending plumes of smoke and occasional eruptions across the barren terrain, adding motion and texture to the scene. This desert stands as a striking natural formation, demonstrating how volcanic forces can sculpt vast, dramatic expanses over thousands of years. Supercell. Supercells are powerful thunderstorms characterized by a rotating updraft, producing towering clouds that can stretch for miles across the sky. They often bring extreme weather, including heavy rain, large hail, and strong winds, shaping the landscape below as they move. The distinctive rotating structure, called a mesocyclone, sets supercells apart from ordinary storms and creates dramatic, sometimes ominous cloud formations. Supercells remain one of nature's most intense atmospheric phenomena, demonstrating the immense energy and complexity that can develop within the sky. Walker Canyon. Walker Canyon in California transforms each spring as wildflowers bloom across rolling hills, covering the landscape in shades of yellow and green that stretch for miles. The hills rise and fall gently, with patches of green vegetation interspersed among fields of yellow flowers, creating a calm, natural pattern visible from afar. Seasonal rains nourish the soil, allowing these two dominant colors to blanket slopes that remain dry and sparse for most of the year. Walker Canyon stands as a striking natural scene, showing how seasonal growth can temporarily shape the hills into a vivid and harmonious landscape. Linear pillars. The Lena Pillars rise dramatically along the banks of the Lena River in Siberia, forming towering rock formations that stretch hundreds of feet into the sky. These vertical cliffs are made of sedimentary rock shaped over millions of years, with layers revealing the passage of geological time. The pillars stand isolated amid forested valleys and meandering river channels, creating striking contrasts of color and form against the landscape. Seasonal changes accentuate their appearance, with sunlight casting long shadows and ice or snow highlighting the textures of the stone surfaces. The Lena Pillars remain a remarkable natural spectacle, showing how erosion and geological processes can create towering, sculpted formations over vast spans of time.